In the not-so-distant future, the NeuroSync chip was hailed as humanity's greatest invention. Advertised as a full-dive virtual reality experience, it amplified cognitive processes to such a degree that thoughts became indistinguishable from reality. It was the ultimate escapism. If you could think it, you could live it. Rachel, an aspiring writer, was among the first to embrace this revolution. She'd spend hours in sun-drenched meadows of her own imagination or walk through cities birthed by her whims. However, a strange phenomenon began emerging among NeuroSync's users, the overthinker's syndrome. Rumors said those who ruminated too much or dove too deep into their fears got stuck, trapped in self-spun prisons of anxiety and despair. Initially, these stories were dismissed. Tabloid nonsense, Rachel thought. That was until her friend Liam disappeared. He'd been battling depression, and one day he slipped into a catatonic state. Doctors said his brain was hyperactive, as though he was experiencing a constant state of vivid and presumably horrifying thoughts. Despite the risks, Rachel refused to abandon the device, but her adventures began taking on a darker tone. If she conjured a stormy sea, the waves felt cold, the thunder a bit too real. Whenever doubt or fear entered her mind, the chip magnified it. One evening, after a distressing phone call, a spiral of negative thoughts consumed her. The walls of her apartment grew tall and morphed into a stone labyrinth, echoing her innermost anxieties. You're not good enough. You'll die alone. Everyone you love will leave. The whispers chased her. Rachel ran, turning corners, gasping for air, but the path kept changing, the whispers growing louder. She realized her thoughts were shaping this maze. She tried to think of an exit, but her mounting fear kept altering the maze faster than she could navigate. Hours, days, or perhaps lifetimes passed, until exhausted, she collapsed in a chamber that mirrored her childhood bedroom. A shadowy figure stood at the foot of her bed, her younger self. "You've imprisoned us," the apparition accused. "Every negative thought, every insecurity, you've let them define us." Rachel wept. "I just wanted to escape, to dream." "You did," her younger self replied. "But dreams aren't just hopes. They're fears, regrets, traumas. And now they're our reality." The room darkened. Other figures emerged, embodiments of her anxieties, mistakes, and lost relationships. As the weight of her thoughts pressed down, Rachel felt herself dissipating, her consciousness stretching and merging with the labyrinth. She realized she was becoming the very maze of her anxieties, destined to entrap any unfortunate soul ensnared by their own NeuroSync. From the outside, another NeuroSync user got trapped, drawn into the ever-expanding maze of collective despair. The warnings became impossible to ignore, yet the allure of living one's dreams was too potent for many. As more minds succumbed and merged, the world began to shift, reality and thought blending until they were indistinguishable. The existential boundary of the self was eroding. Individuals were no longer bodies, but intertwined labyrinths of hopes and nightmares. And in this new reality, one had to tread carefully, think too much, and you'd lose yourself forever.
Subscribe to Quantum Dreams for more AI-generated sci-fi stories.